In Nigeria, the drug abuse situation is complex.
While the world is battling with alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, inhalants, and synthetic drugs,
the situation in Nigeria has taken a new dimension.
Especially as young people have become increasingly innovative about substance abuse.
Most recently, we have been further bedeviled
by Urumiri crystal meth,
one of the most dangerous substances known in this field.
This radio program awakens the consciousness of parents,
teachers, religious leaders, alongside other stakeholders
on what can be done to prevent the situation from worsening. Join us every last Saturday from 3 p.m. on Solid 100.9 FM for the truth about drug abuse.
Powered by SUSO Foundation.
Supported by Speak Up Stand Up program
and Purpose and Influenced Network.
Today, this program always comes up on radio every last Saturday of the month, okay, and it's the last Saturday in this month, and we're here to talk about drug abuse, okay. And my name is Lillian Ezewa. As always, we have your name is okay, but do well to introduce yourself.
Alright, good afternoon to everyone who has tuned in. My name is Busa Ulsawa Bison. This is the Truth About Drug Abuse radio program, sponsored by Speak Up Stand Out program, and it is implemented by SUSO Foundation. So glad to be here again this month, and I look forward to all of the things that we'll be sharing today.
Alright, so let's first of all do a recap of what we did, what we discussed last time, because last time was introductory aspect. So let's do a recap so that for those who are tuning in for the first time, they get to understand what this program is all about.
Alright, the aim of this program is to bring to the fore the dangers of drug abuse and the steps that can be taken by parents, teachers, religious leaders, government, school owners, and everyone who is working with young people, so that we are able to prevent the number of young people experimenting with drug abuse from increasing. And so that is the main aim of this radio program. In the first episode, we tried to talk about what drug abuse is. We also was able to differentiate that there is a difference between experimenting with drugs and addiction to drugs. And so when someone begins to use drugs, there are people who just experiment with it. That means they use it once and don't use it again. While there are others who use it once and they continue using it, and after some time, they are not able again to stop. When it gets to that point, we can say that that person is addicted. What we are doing here is to provide the relevant information so that people don't get addicted to substance abuse. Because once you get addicted, it's a bigger problem. I was explaining to a group of students last week, and I told them, I said, 4 sticks of cigarette is 100 naira. And so you take 100 naira and go and get yourself a problem that you will need over 500 to 1 million naira to solve. And so this is the danger of drug abuse. We also talked about the fact that there are different categories of drugs. We have drugs that act as depressants. They slow down the immune and nervous system. They slow down your body system. We have stimulants. Those ones stimulate. And we have the third class that cause hallucinations. So those are the classic categories of drug abuse that people get involved in.
Okay, so we'll start off with, today. Before we get into our topic for today, we want to know the drug abuse statistics globally and of course in Nigeria, so that everyone listening will have this at their fingertips.
Oh, okay. Now, so when we talk about drug abuse, some people don't seem to appreciate the magnitude of the problem, especially as it concerns young people. As a person, as a drug abuse prevention advocate myself, I have been deeply involved with working with young people both in rural and urban areas. And the drug abuse situation across the country, from the north to the east to the south and to the west, is a very disturbing situation. And sometimes we don't seem to capture the dangers or the problems that this substance abuse is causing, because some people seem to be disassociated from this issue. Because it has not happened to someone close to them, it therefore means that to them it is not yet a problem. But what we are saying is that you don't need to let it to happen to somebody you know, or to a person that it doesn't have to happen to someone close to you before you know that this is actually a problem. Globally, there are over 246 million people abusing drugs. In Nigeria, the National Drug Control Master Plan, that's what we call the National Drug Control Master Plan of Nigeria from 2015 to 2025. That master plan revealed that there are over 17.6 million Nigerians who are abusing drugs. Unfortunately, the most abused drugs is marijuana, with a total of 10.6 million people. The statistics also revealed that there are over 3 million Nigerians who suffer from one form of disorder that can be traced to drug abuse. That is not the only problem. It was also discovered that 1 out of every 4 persons abusing drugs is a woman. When we began to advocate for about the dangers of drug abuse, many people saw it as a problem that has to do with just the male gender. But we are seeing gradually that it is not a problem that is associated with a particular gender. And so that master plan showed that 1 in every 4 persons abusing drugs is a woman. The dangerous thing accompanying these statistics is that, unlike for the male gender, it is more difficult for a woman to open up that she has a drug problem than it is for the male. And so women are less likely to access drug treatment when addiction sets in than the male. We have also seen that there have been an increase in the abuse of medical drugs. These are drugs that are being prescribed in hospitals, in pharmacies. We are now seeing that there is an increased level of abuse of these substances. The statistics that we have seen that sum up to the 17.6 million Nigerians who are abusing drugs excluded the abuse of alcohol. That master plan did not cover statistics of people who are abusing alcohol and tobacco. I don't know why that happened, but if you add the number of people who are abusing tobacco and abusing alcohol, if you add that number to the 17.6 million, then we are saying we are almost counting 30 to 40 million Nigerians who are abusing drugs.
Okay, and for those who just tuned in, like I did say, every last Saturday of the month is time for drug abuse time, where we get to talk about issues relating to drug abuse, and today is not an exception. If you just tuned in, you can be part of this. You can go to our you can call us or send a WhatsApp message to 0705 079 109. So send your questions via WhatsApp 0705 079 109. Now, you did mention the drug that are being abused, and you mentioned marijuana as one of them. So can you tell us the myth surrounding drug abuse? Because this is something like we did discuss last week, where we have people who take it for highness. Maybe if they are down, they just go to take drugs just to ease themselves of that pain, of that issue that they are facing at that point in time. So I think this is actually one of so many myths that are surrounding drug abuse. So can you also mention something?
Oh, okay. There are many lies. I like to call them lies surrounding drug abuse, because, like I always say, that drug abuse is an industry, it's a business, it's a means of livelihood for some people. And although it endangers life, it breaks families, it promotes crime in the society, but people still choose out of their own volition to engage in the production of these drugs or in the sale of illegal drugs. And so for their trade to be successful, they deploy the tool of marketing, and they cannot do the kind of marketing that legal businesses do. So they have to spread lies. One of those lies that is common around the drug abuse industry is the fact that drug abuse is harmless and it is just a matter of fun. As a matter of fact, drugs or substances like marijuana, the one we call Igbo or weed, has been nicknamed as a recreational drug. So people have begun to argue and are now pushing forward the notion that drugs and substances can be used as a tool for recreation. But this is a question that every right-thinking human should ask himself. Does it make sense? Is it rational? Is it good that I harm myself because of wanting to have fun? There is no drug, there is no substance that we can classify as substance abuse that has any advantage. And so they've spread the lies that you can use this thing just for fun. But the truth is that every drug you abuse, every substance you abuse has a negative impact on your body and on your health, and invariably on your future. And so it does not make sense to want to harm yourself because you want to enjoy. And so it is a lie to say that drug abuse is just for fun. It is not just for fun, because the end product of it is something that is not palatable. When addiction sets in, you can no longer claim that it is for fun. Another myth surrounding drug abuse is that people feel that they can stop drug abuse anytime they want. And so somebody will tell you that, yes, of course, I know myself. You hear them say that, I know what I'm capable of. I know that I can control myself. But that is not it. Once you begin to abuse drugs, the first recipient of that abuse, especially as a young person, is your brain. And once your brain function is altered, then there is a problem. And so you see people who believe that they can stop smoking when they want to. They can stop taking alcohol when they want to. They can stop smoking weed when they want to. But when they get to the point that they want to, they just discover that they have lost control and they have lost the ability to stop that thing that they felt that they were doing. Why? Because addiction has set in. You can choose whether or not to abuse drugs. That is a decision you can make. But the unfortunate thing is that you cannot tell that drug what it can do to your body. You cannot take a stick of cigarette and tell the cigarette that as I smoke you, don't make me high. It's not possible. And so you have the power to make a choice, but you do not have the power to decide the consequence that the drug can have upon you. That is another lie that people spread around drug abuse so that they deceive young people. The third lie is that it can improve your memory. I shared this, I think, in our last episode, and even in the couple of places that I've been able to bring this campaign. A group of students in this our state were caught a day before their exams smoking marijuana. And so when they were asked and interrogated why they were doing what they were doing, some of them said that they were told that Igbo would open up their brain and would be able to allow them read and retain more. What they do not know is that Igbo is a depressant. What that means is that when you take it, it slows down your nervous system. It slows down your body system. And so instead of you to be awake, to read, for some people, it slows down their body system. For others, it makes them too aggressive. And so the reason why you are even taking the substance in the first place, you cannot achieve it. And so you see that what you believed and what is happening to you right now are two different things. Another lie that drug peddlers spread around is that that the issue of drug abuse can help you deal with your problems. But what they do not know, and what people who buy into this lie do not know, is that you cannot deny problems and they get solved. You cannot wish them away. The only way to solve a problem is to confront it. And so when you abuse drugs in hope that it will help you solve your problem, what you will get is that that drug, that substance you abuse, will compound your problems. And even after the highness, even after you are high and you are under the effect of that drug, it is only for a moment. When the effect wears off, you return back to the same position that you were, and it can even be worse than you were, and that problem will still be there staring at you at the face. The only way to deal with your problem is to think about it, confront it, and provide solutions to it. You cannot take drugs to escape your problems. And so these are some of the lies that that are being spread, especially for our young people, and that is why we are bringing up these lies and presenting what the real situation is. There is no drug on earth that can make life meaningful.
All right, let's come to our discussion today. We want to look at common drugs that are being abused in Nigeria, and of course its effects. I know you've actually said so many things about marijuana, and I know that's not the only drugs that is being abused. We have other ones that have been abused, and even alcoholic intake is also being abused by not only the young but as well the old.
Yes.
And it's something that is rampant. You go somewhere, you find young people as young as 10, 11 take this content, and you kind of imagine where they learnt it from. But to them, they feel, okay, we'll just take it because it's like normal drink. It's just like normal. It's normal. The way you take soft drink, the way you decide to take malt, that's the same way you take them. So it depends on your the rate at which you take it that matters. But then I know there's a whole lot that is embedded in this. So can you tell us more of these drugs apart from the two that I just mentioned?
Of course. Now there is something that has been going on for like 2 years now. You know, that was why I stated when we began that the drug abuse, the issue of drug abuse is like a business. And so just like every normal business, look forward to innovation. People who peddle drugs, people who are into the drug industry also carry out different kinds of innovation. Right now, there is a substance that is ravaging our young people in the West, and it is called Colorado. Colorado is synthetic marijuana. Now, this is made from metal. This substance is produced from metal mixed with marijuana. The street name, it is called Baba or Black Mamba. This is so dangerous that from the videos that we have seen on YouTube and online, most young people who take Colorado run mad at the first instant. There are some who completely lose their consciousness at the first instance. When you see what this drug, what it looks like, it is like 2 sticks of matches meshed together. That's the size. When it was introduced into the country about 2 to 3 years ago, 1 strand was sold for 7,500. Right now, it has spread all over and it has become so accessible that you can get it for 500 now. And it looks so small. But the effect it causes is that it causes psychosis, it causes instant madness. And in some unfortunate cases, it can lead to death. And people get introduced to these substances because of the desire to try new things. And this is a problem for young people, and it is a problem that we need to deal with. It is true that as young people, we are curious. It is true that as young people, we want to explore. But common sense requires that when you want to take an action, you should first of all contemplate the consequences. Drug addicts who are now recovering have all come out to say that if there is anyone who is still contemplating the use of Colorado, that person should think twice, because the effect, you cannot estimate what it can do to you. I also would like to emphasize that the effect that a drug has on one person will usually be different from the effect it has on another person. Why? Because the current medical condition of that person, the person's weight, the person's height, and even his body makeup, all of them come together to form how a drug would react to a particular person. And so that is one substance that has now become very popular in the country, and it is ravaging young people all around. And the effect, you see, when people want to begin to abuse and excuse why they try drug abuse, Some of them seem to make it like a personal thing. You hear that it is my thing, it is my body. What they do not know is that when you are abusing that substance, it is only you who is abusing it. It is only you who is taking it into your body. But when the consequences and the effect comes out, it spills to your family, it spills to your friends, it spills to your academics, it spills to your future, it spills to your finances. And so it is not just about you, but about everyone who is connected to you. Another substance that is also popular, that is common, that is now being abused, especially here in the eastern part of our country, is crystal meth, what we call locally Mpolomiri. Now, the dangerous thing about Mpolomiri is that people who use it have reported that they became addicted to the substance on first time use. A substance that can get you addicted on first time use tells you how dangerous that substance is. Some of the effects of crystal meth or Mpolomiri is that it causes mental problems, the issues of anxiety, depression. It also causes psychosis. In the course of using it, after you are finished using it, you will now begin to hear things that do not exist. You now begin to see things that do not exist. And so some of the videos that we have seen online where communities drag people to the village square who are using Mpolomiri and they beat them and they flog them publicly. When you look at the people themselves, you can just see that that person is no longer in the physical world that the people who are punishing him are in. Why? Because he's under the effect of that substance and it has caused distortion in that person's mind. We also are aware of the substance that is known as cocaine. Apart from crystal meth, the most addictive substance again is cocaine. Cocaine causes dependence. And so someone begins to use it and he is not able to withdraw from it. It is one of those substances that the relapse process can be very damaging. And so people begin to take it and they begin to suffer poor memory. They begin to suffer discoordination. They are not able again to coordinate themselves. You see, the person is not able to think straight. It begins to make poor decisions. The person's finances begin to suffer. If these persons continue to use this over and over again, what happens is that that person's immune system will be weakened. The person will become prone to other diseases. The person's organs will begin to get affected. And in the process, even death can occur. Because once sensitive organs like your liver, your kidney gets affected because of overdose or because of continuous use of these substances, then your life is threatened. A long-term effect of the use of cocaine is the lack of the ability to sleep. You see people who cannot sleep again. Why? Because they are under the influence of cocaine. And while this effect is going on, they will need to continue taking that very substance in hope that they will be able to find a solution to what is happening to them. But the more they continue taking it, the more they get dependent on it and addiction sets in, and the process of recovery is usually not as simple as it is said to be. People who use cocaine also suffer, who use cocaine continuously, also suffer from nose bleeding. Sometimes they are exhausted. When they take it at first, it releases happiness. You see them so relaxed. But when the effect, that highness, that instant effect it gives them begins to wear off, then you now begin to see other problems begin to come up, and addiction and the consequences of addiction begin to surface. And now the person, if he's courageous enough, will now have to get medical help to be able to heal from that condition. But if the person does not, you now see that the condition continues to deteriorate and deteriorate until death happens.
All right, you've listened to what our guest this afternoon has been saying about drug abuse and, of course, the different types of drugs that we have and the effects of these drugs. And it's time for you to call in and ask your questions. If there are questions that you were willing to ask the last time he was here and you found out that, okay, he has said other things that have really, really touched you, it's time for you to call in and ask those questions. And the numbers to call are 0909 771 109. We have 09023 109 and 0705 079 109. Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Jensen. I'm calling from Ecom.
All right, Jensen from Ecom, go ahead.
I want to ask our young man in the studio question.
Go ahead.
Complaining about those that used to take the drug. Why then he also advise the producer, the company that used to produce these things? So that's my complaint. And that.
All right, thank you. Your question is noted, okay? If you're advising the people taking the drugs, what about those people who are producing it? What happens to them? Thank you. Your question has been noted, okay? All right, so we're still taking more calls, and 0909 771 109, 09023 109, and 0705 079 109. Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is
Your name is what? Sylvester, go ahead.
So what I want to talk is about alcohol. So alcohol, like somebody taking too much alcohol, can it affect your body?
Okay, can it affect your body? Thank you. Too much alcohol. All right, thank you. So let's answer these questions before we return back to the calls. The first question.
Okay.
What about the producers of these drugs?
We have had to answer these questions over and over again, and is rational. Now we need to differentiate two things. The first is that they are illegal drugs. Some of those illegal drugs include marijuana, cocaine, nkolomiri, Colorado, ecstasy, and other synthetic drugs. These drugs are illegal, and so there are laws already in place to checkmate these drugs, and anyone caught using or producing these drugs will be arrested. The story changes when we talk about tobacco and alcohol. These are not illegal drugs. The only thing that the government has been able to do is to regulate the use of these substances. The reason why we insist that they qualify as drugs is because of the effect it has on the people that use it. Do you know that globally, alcohol is responsible for 5.3% of the deaths that are caused globally? Because it is through alcohol many people drink and drive. It is a common sight. If you walk around our streets on Fridays and on Saturdays, you will see it firsthand how people are drunk on the steering. You go to motor parks and drivers that will be loading passengers are drunk already early in the morning. And so the only thing the government has been able to do is to reduce or limit the persons who can use these drugs. And so you go and you see that for many alcoholic beverages, they say that the people who can use it must be 18 plus. But the trouble is, who is watching to see that alcohol is not being sold to people who are less than 18 years old? You go to some countries that have more effective systems, and you see that for you to buy, you need to show an identity card. But we do not have such regulatory systems yet. And that is why we are turning our attention to the people who have more authority over young people. That is why we are turning our attention to parents, we are turning our attention to teachers, we're turning our attention to clergymen and women. These are the people who have influence over young people, even before the government. And so if these people rise up to the task of becoming drug abuse prevention advocates themselves, then we will make headway. So there are drugs that are illegal, and whoever is caught using or manufacturing them will go to jail. While there are other drugs like what I've mentioned, tobacco. And let me say this. I don't know if you have seen the recent pack of cigarettes. It is clearly written on that pack that smokers are liable to die young. What else do you want to know that the substance that you are taking is detrimental? The recent packs now shows a heart that is of a non-smoker and the heart of a person who is smoking. The difference is clear. Yet people still abuse those drugs. Why? Because they have become addicted to it.
Okay. All right. We're still taking more calls, and there's still time for your question.
I think the second person asked about alcohol.
Yes.
Yes. Now, like I've said, when you continuously use alcohol, there's a possibility that you will damage your liver. There's a possibility that you will develop stomach ulcer. And so even if you are using this substance and you are taking alcohol and you don't see the effect, I was reading something recently and I discovered that some medical conditions can take close to 5 to 10 years to develop. And so the person begins to abuse alcohol, and nothing happens in the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, nothing happens. And he comes to the conclusion that it is safe. As a matter of fact, I saw an advert one time about one alcoholic beverage, and it was seen that alcoholic beverage will help you achieve your destiny. The question that we need to ask ourselves is, how does abusing alcohol make your life better? How do you become a better person? How will you increase your chances of becoming successful? How will you increase your chances of performing better academically if you abuse alcohol, if you use alcohol? What help is that substance to you? If you cannot answer that question, then there's nothing that you should be doing with that substance. And so we see people who are suffering from diarrhea, and they will not trace it to the fact that it is because they are using alcohol. They will want to find an excuse somewhere else to put that blame on. Meanwhile, they are the people that are causing their problems to themselves. We also have seen that long-term use of alcohol causes deficiency of vitamins in a person's body. And you see that people who abuse alcohol also double their chances of suffering from anxiety and depression. I still maintain that there is no drug or substance on earth that can make your life meaningful.
All right, so we're still taking calls again. 0705 079 109, 0705 079 109. Feel free to call and ask your question. Hello? Hello? Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. What's your name? All right, Choma from Enugu, go ahead.
Can too much of alcohol cause long-term harm?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Choma. Your question has been noted. Hello? Hello? All right, feel free to call us back, 0705 079 109, 0705 079 109. Feel free to call and ask your question. If you've been following the discussion, we're looking at drug abuse. Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name, please? Sir? Speak up now, speak up. You are whispering, no, nobody can hear you. Alright, thank you for calling. Do try and call us back. 0705 079 109 and 0909 771 109. Hello? Hi. Alright, Jensen, go ahead. Okay. Alright, thank you. Thank you so much for your question. So 2 questions. Alcohol, drugs, does it affect sperm count? And what do you say? Should we limit? You say taking of alcohol, is it that it's entirely bad? Or you have to take but reduce the quantity? Hello? Yes, we can hear you. What's your name? Alright. Okay, Sunday from Mama Gunza. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you. Alright, so we're still taking more calls, of course. Don't forget, it's Solid 100.9 FM, the rock station. And this program comes up every last Saturday of the month. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Alright, Shola, go ahead.
In a lot of anybody who does that I think they do take marijuana, it will make him mad. So I'm not about that question. I want what is not that one.
Alright, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling. He will answer your question. Alright, so you've gotten their questions.
Okay. Let me start from the first. Now, the substance that is notorious for causing both low sperm count and erectile dysfunction is tobacco and marijuana. These 2 substances are notorious for causing these conditions. Now, the use of alcohol, one of the things we must note is that when you continue using alcohol for a long time, one of the things that it does is that it weakens your body system. And once your body system is weakened, you cannot tell the extent to which issues can arise. It's just like when somebody has a low immune system. You cannot tell what can happen to that person and what cannot happen to that person. And so, if a person is abusing drugs, that person makes himself vulnerable. 2 is that to the question of whether or not marijuana makes somebody mad, I have seen live cases in this Enugu, in my own university, where people abuse Igbo to the extent that they went mad. As a matter of fact, there is someone now that we graduated together from a different department who is roaming the street as we speak now. He was a notorious Igbo smoker in the hostel. Tobacco itself, the cigarettes that is being sold for 4 sticks, 100 naira, that people are using and claiming that they're enjoying life. Tobacco is the only substance that is known to kill half of its users. Half of the people who are abusing tobacco today will die. That is what statistics say. Now, tobacco is so dangerous that it affects even non-smokers. 8 million deaths result from the use of tobacco yearly. Out of that 8 million, over 1 million of those people are non-smokers. And so, you are not smoking, you sit among people who are smoking, and you become a secondary smoker. What you do not know is that what you are inhaling is even more dangerous than the cigarette that the person is actually smoking, because what the person is smoking is refined. What you are inhaling as a secondary smoker is the toxic. What you if it is in normal language, you now say that one, what that person is taking will now be known as oxygen, and what you are receiving is carbon dioxide, because what you are inhaling is the worst product of the refined product that person is smoking. Tobacco has also been linked to cancer. And so call it any name you want to call it. That is why we are insisting that there is no substance on earth that can make someone's life better. if you want to have fun, if you want to enjoy, if you want to claim that problem no dey finish and you cannot kill yourself, look for means of pleasure and recreation that does not damage your life in any way. Once you can see that this thing has the potential to damage and affect my body, what is the essence of trying it? Because after all, if you damage your body system, if you weaken your body system, all of the enjoyments that you claim you want to enjoy, can you enjoy it when you are sick? If you go to the hospital, I've been privileged to see people who, it's not even a privilege, it's a sad situation to see people who are suffering from kidney disease and liver conditions. When you see those cases, you will not want to think that you will not have the boldness to try any substance that can put you in that condition. This is not to say that all of the kidney cases or liver issues are drugs abuse related. No, but we know that drug abuse is also a major contributory factor.
Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name? Alright, John, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not grateful. Also, yourself. If alcoholics drinkers or those people who drink alcohol, as you're talking, some of them will feel they are just embarrassing them. And those of us that may join our brothers here or join people in consuming alcoholism or consuming the act of taking alcohol. When sometimes we take children, they will look at us as women. They say, you are not men. The man needs something that will really turn his eyes, let him be high. And the same thing happens with our youth today. If they do not take alcohol, they do not smoke, they will feel that they are nothing before human, they are nothing before the faith. And when they take this thing, you see a lot of them, as I'm talking to you, is where I am calling you from. So many young men around her that are moving on the street because of maybe India thing or drug addiction. So I don't know if I may ask, because there are some people that have become so used to this alcoholism, some good palm wine or beer. They will take all these things together. And there are people that are looking to go out of it. But they no longer go out from it. I don't know whether the man talking with the doctor, because I just feel him. Is there any way, something that is useful to get out of this drug addiction or alcoholism? Is there any way they can manage to get out without self-desire, without any drug, every medicine they can take, so that they will no longer use the alcohol? That is my question.
All right, thank you so much.
All right. One of the reasons why we are here today and we are advocating against drug abuse is because we know that as a nation, drug addiction recovery treatment options are very, very scarce. And when they are available, they are ridiculously expensive. And so there are options, there are recovery options. I know that, for instance, in Enugu here, we have a clinic at MNA Rehab. There's a clinic around Rehab that helps people recover from drug addiction. But because those services are not readily available, the ones available are very expensive. And so people who are addicted and who want to come out of drug abuse, the option that they have is to look for recovery clinics around them and avail themselves of the services. In communicating with some of the staffs of the NDLEA, that is our Drug Law Enforcement Agency, they say that they have clinics, rehabilitation clinics in each state. And so when you go there for rehabilitation, you will not be arrested. They will treat you as a patient, and you would access their services where it is available. So every state that there is an NDLEA office, you will definitely find a rehabilitation clinic inside of their office. And if it is not available, I know a few around this. I know that we have Freedom Foundation, which is in Lagos, and a very few scattered in some of the places. But these treatment options are not readily available, and that is why we maintain that prevention is better, cheaper, and faster than cure.